Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the virtual Talladega Super Speedway as we get you set for Race 2 of Season 2 of the Little Guys Series here on the Hickory Racing Network. My name is Dawson Wise, as usual, back in the booth with you. With me tonight, one of my broadcast partners from last week, our defending Little Guys Series champion, Mr. Michael Triscaro. Mike, how you doing, buddy, and what are you expecting out of tonight's race?
Doing really good, man. I'm expecting a great show. We have 32 drivers it looks like here tonight, and we got some teams, man. We got Hyper Motorsports. Looks like they have 6 guys running. We have KSR. I think you counted 9, and we got like 6 drivers from McCall Motorsports. So look for those 3 big teams for the winner to come from one of those tonight.
Certainly would not be surprised qualifying on the racetrack right now. You see the times flashing across the left side of your screen, and we will get you set to get on the grid here in just a moment. I do want to make sure we do mention who is already in that final race at the end of the season. If you're not familiar with the format, how we're going to do this, we're going to have 5 weeks of races. The top 3 out of those races are going to advance to the final race of the season, where they will race for the big championship pot of money. We do have single race payouts as well. And those are, and I will get you those real quick because I know based on 20, so these are going to be scaled up quite a ways with the 32 truck field, but based on 20, 50 to first, 40 to second, 30 to third, just on a line tonight. Obviously, those will scale up probably closer to 65, 70 for first, and then so on from there. The 3 guys advanced already into that final race are our top 3 from last week, our opening race, and what a race it was. David Sheets is in that race. And I'm trying to remember for the life of me who came in second. Mike, you might be able to help with that in a second, but I do know that Michael Menchaca is also locked into that final race at the end of the season.
Yeah, it was the 76 of Ron Morris Jr. Ron runs RMO over there every Tuesday night. He puts on some great action. So kudos to Ron Morris for finishing runner-up. And, let's see if these guys can get back up there. I know they're locked in, but I'm sure they want more. So.
Well, we'll get you ready to roll here. Little Guys Series Week 2 from Talladega Super Speedway. Trucks are getting on the grid, getting ready to go. Like you heard Mike say, it's 32 trucks deep tonight. And so we will get that grid to you here in just a moment. Quick time tonight, 55.687. The Hyper Motorsports entry of Heath Job in the 760. To his outside, KSR's Thomas Parker, another impressive qualifying effort. It's an all KSR row 2. Trevor Osbornoff in the 89. Kenneth Stamper in the 30. Josh McCullough starts from 5th. To his outside, another KSR entry. That is Dustin Carruthers in the 10, one of our spotlight drivers from last week, Devin Ray. So we'll start from 7th tonight with Richard Elliott to his outside in the 02. Rounding out the top 10 will be Zach Range in the 043 and Kenneth Gallman in the 70.
And starting in 11th from Florida, Philip Wilkinson. On his outside, it'll be the 6 of Cole Fitzpatrick. Last week's runner-up, Ron Morris, will start 13th. Behind him will be Justin Mills in 14th. Danny E. Dan Eichelman, he will start 15th, with Harrison Whitehead in 16th. Mark Von Dell of McCall Motorsports will start 17th. And last week's third-place finisher, Michael Menchaca, will start 18th. Ooh, I have not seen this guy yet. Daniel Diorio, if I could say that right, he will start 19th. And Bradley Stefane, he will start 20th.
Going through the rest of your field here, row 11 will be Ryan Baste in the 73 with Bobby Forbes to his outside. Tim White rolls from 23rd. Nick Warner is back for another go. He rolls from 24th. Another new name to the Little Guys Series, Steve Sizemore, starts from 25th. And how about another new name? A couple of them here, 26th and 27th. Joshua Muchler and Cody Muchler will roll from 26th and 27th. The Green Ghost, Austin Green, rolls from 28th position tonight. Brock Westmoreland in 29th position. As I try to get this out there as I hit the wrong button. Todd May starts from 30th. Round out the field is going to be Logan York, John Darnell, and Josh Holmes. 32 trucks have made the trip. In fact, I think it may be 33 as we get ready to roll here for race number 2 of the Little Guys Series. A lot of new names. How about some of these new names further back? Harrison Whitehead, Daniel Diorio, Josh Muchler, Cody Muchler, Steve Sizemore, all taking their first shots here at the Little Guys Series tonight. It's a big field. It's an impressive field. It's a group of guys that are ready to go. And we're getting ready to put another race on track. Mike, you were up here with us for race 1. I got to imagine race 2 is going to hold more of the same craziness, intensity that we saw throughout the race last week.
Yeah, it really is. I was excited last week, but I'm that much more excited this week. And to tell you the truth, I know he's sitting on the pole, Heath Job. If you were in here earlier, I was in the chat talking to some of these guys. He was my pick to win the race. So Heath Job, I think that's the guy that's going to get it done. I've been running a lot with him in some pot races. The guy has just come alive over there at Hyper Motorsports, and you know, he might be the pole sitter, but I think he starts on that pole and he finishes #1 here tonight.
Certainly would be a great pick. Heath Job going to be hungry for a victory. Before we go green here, did want to say really quickly, thoughts and prayers tonight are with Brian Bassett, BB, as many of us know him. His wife has been sick, and we did want to say that they are in our thoughts tonight. If you could, spare a thought, spare a prayer for the Bassett family tonight as we get ready to go green. We're racing for them here tonight from Talladega. But regardless, here we go. Heath Job into the tri-oval with Thomas Parker to his outside. It's a KSR party up here at the front behind him. Heath Job looking to set the tone. Race 2 of the Little Guys Series from Talladega getting ready to go. Into the restart zone they come. Green flag. We're racing from Talladega, and off they go towards turn number 1 up through the gears. Job, Parker, Oswernoth, Stamper, and others. Who makes the first move? Nobody so far. Two by two, 4 rows deep. Bit of a separation further back as we start to get up to speed. And off turn number 2, going to be a drag race. Thomas Parker, I think, will find himself in the lead with his teammates lined up behind him, Stamper and Carruthers.
Yeah, down the backstretch they go. That middle line's usually the preferred line here, and they are cooking down there into turn 3.
Well, absolutely. Sunset in Talladega today. Closer to dusk, twilight, if you will. Usually we're used to seeing the sun high above this 2.66 mile oval, but tonight a little bit of a later start in the day makes for a very, very great ambiance, if you will, for this race. A great backdrop with a sunset going off of turn number 3 and 4. Trevor Oswernoth quickly, wasting no time. He goes to the race lead. Josh McCullough, one of the best pushers in the field, behind him up top. It's Job with a KSR party behind him. Job's closest teammate, Richard Elliott, 4 rows back, trying to make something happen here at the front of the field. But for now, it's all Oswernoth and Job up front, looking for guys that are making moves. To me, Nick Warner, the biggest mover so far, +4. He's up to 20th, making his way forward. As other than that, everybody content to ride 2 by 2. Trouble further back. The 21, I believe, of Cody Muchler is around, and that's going to bring out our first caution of the night. He collects Bobby Forbes, and they slide together here at the entrance of turn number 3. And quickly, we slow this one down to a halt as we are under our first caution of the night here on lap number 2. And I kind of saw it out of the corner of my eye. Not sure what happened here to the 21. Oh, looks like he's off track. That's what I figured when I looked back.
Yeah, he
here.
got a little bump from Brock Westmoreland here on the backstretch, and when he got that bump, it looks like it just kind of pulled his truck down left and kind of got hooked there. Kind of a race hit incident. You know, those 3 cars were kind of stacked up, and it's just, you know, you're going so fast at this track, especially down that backstretch. And, you know, when you're bumper to bumper and you're pushing the pusher, that's going to happen 9 out of 10 times. So unfortunate there for Muchler, but hopefully he can get that thing repaired and back on track and get a crack at it.
Take a couple more looks at it. He was riding right behind the 17 machine, and I'm going to try to figure out who that 17 is. I'm looking through here. Looks like it's Steve Sizemore, another one of our newcomers, and trying to get a little bit better angle. You can see, actually, Westmoreland gets off the racetrack first. Then the 21's going to drive down. Still good here. Still good here. He's going to hang a left here. I don't know if the line checked up. Something happened. Perhaps a little help. Yeah, it looks to me like maybe a stack up, perhaps. I don't think he did that by his own volition. I think he got hit down there, but regardless, not intentional out of Brock Westmoreland. Just kind of a deal where the line stacked up.
Yeah, very unfortunate for the 5 of Bobby Forbes there. He was just kind of in the middle lane by himself, minding his own business, and just an innocent bystander in that one. But that's Talladega for you. That's racing in the draft, and like I said, hopefully these guys can get their trucks repaired and get back on the track and make their way back up here to the front.
Well, absolutely. So a quick halt to this one. It's a KSR front row right now. Thomas Parker and Kenny Stamper. And KSR, in fact, holds the spots of 1, 2, 4, and 5 on the racetrack as they run right now. Like I said, I do believe they have a few more entries than usual tonight, and we'll get to see some of those guys a little bit later, obviously, as we get later in the race. But for now, a lot of the top 5, really the top 10, unchanged so far. Zach Range has actually fallen a spot, but he's hanging around. Certainly would like to see him get up front if you're a Range fan. And I'll tell you what, we have several of those in the chat already. Good to see some support for him. Devin Ray, good to see you again, brother. Good luck tonight. He's running 8th right now on the racetrack. Logan York is out here as well. He is giving me a nice little reminder that tonight's actually going to be a top 5 payout instead of top 3. Again, don't have exact numbers for you, but we'll try to get those as the race goes on. So it'll actually be 5 spots paid instead of 3. Wow, how about that? So you could finish 5th, win money, and still not advance that end of the season race. So a prize, sure, but obviously these guys looking for top 3s, looking to get into that race at the end of the season, much like David Sheets, Ron Morris, and Michael Menchaca did last week. And I guess it's a good thing that David Sheets won. I don't see him on the racetrack tonight, so good thing he got in the top 3 last week. But still a lot of spots to be had. 12 more spots potentially can be decided by top 3s, and that's what makes this format so unique. And the format's also what allowed you to win the championship last season, Mike.
Yeah, it did. It's a great format. I didn't race all the 5 races, but what's nice is John makes you pay back into that pot. So for the couple races I did have to miss, for me to be eligible to win the big pot in the championship series race, I had to pay, the extra money to be able to do that. So, which is a good thing. You should have to do that. You can't really sit out. And if you do sit out, you got to make up for it later. So David Sheets will have to do that if he wants to race for the big pot. And coming from me, it's definitely worth it. That was a pretty decent-sized pot in the first round of John Ward Series. And I'm sure, judging by these fields, it's going to be much bigger the second time around here.
Yeah, what a turnout tonight. 32. We had 30 last week. We had 30 late in the season last season as well. Obviously, what a great turnout it is for a race like this, and that's to give spotlight to perhaps guys you don't typically get to see on a Tuesday or a Thursday night. Obviously, good to get to see some of these guys because, man, I'll tell you what, some nights they steal the show for the whole week. They've done that in the past. Last week certainly put on an incredible race to start the season, so we'll see if that one can live up to the hype that we had coming into tonight. So we get ready to go back green on lap number 6. Kenny Stamper, Thomas Parker, on the front row for this restart. KSR, strong statement to start the race, but not lurking too far behind them. Couple of Hyper teammates, couple of McCullough Motorsports teammates as well. Josh McCullough, Devin Ray, and others as teams look to make the early statement here in this one, which is different from what we saw in last season's edition of the Little Guy Series. A lot more team-oriented this season so far.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on that before the race. You got KSR, McCullough Motorsports, and, newly formed Hyper Motorsports. They got a lot of guys on those teams, a lot of numbers. But they're not just numbers. They're really good race car drivers. And you see that night in, night out. A lot of these guys racing FEG, PGR, RMR, just honing their skills, getting better. And, you've seen a lot of these guys not winning those big races. So it's good to see it. They might be little guys here, but they're doing big things on the other stages. So, kudos to them. I'm just hoping they can continue that success here. And, hey, they build these teams, man. They're gonna compete with the NBGs of the world, the team mains and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it, man, because it's always good to knock the top dog off the throne. So.
Well, absolutely it is, and we'll see how some of these teams fare, how some of these teams continue to grow and evolve. KSR already a force even on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're looking to be a force on Mondays as well. Green flag back in the air. 22 laps to go from Talladega. Thomas Parker, Kenny Stamper drag race off towards turn number 1 as guys start to make their moves towards the front. Harrison Whitehead is coming towards the front. He's that bright red and yellow Jegs 16 machine there in the outside lane, trying to make his first statement here at the front. Same with Daniel DiOrio. He's up a couple spots as well. Nick Warner, so he's back in the field tonight. He's making his way forward. Same with Logan York, John Darnell, both +8 so far down the backstretch, so they are making their way forward as well. For now, though, at the front, McCullough and KSR, as they've kind of all just been content to ride for the time being. Haven't seen a move yet. Waiting for one off of turn number 4 as Ron Morris, I think, would be the first guy you'd expect to move in the 76. He's got some teammates around him. We'll see what he decides to do, rocking that new Budweiser 76 paint.
Yeah, so far it's pretty calm here. Side by side, with no third lane yet forming. I'm sure we'll see it soon. Got a couple guys lane changing here, but looks like everyone's kind of taking it easy. There's, not too many laps in this race. I know series owner John Ward talked about maybe going to longer races with this big a field so that drivers in the back had some more time to make their way through. But I'll tell you what, you could go back to front pretty quick if you make the right moves. And here we go. 3 wide into turn 3 here at Talladega.
Yep, and then guess who? It's the McCullough Motorsports trucks that are the first to move. Josh McCullough, Devin Ray, Ron Morris Jr., and the 02, Richard Elliott, going with him, as well as Danny Eshelman in the 26, making his first appearance here towards the front. Josh McCullough, he may be able to go all the way to the bottom if he wants it. He's down for the lead. Leads Devin Ray to lead the top line up against the wall. Oh, big moment there just for a second. Josh does go all the way down. Allows Stamper to go back to the race lead. Now Devin Ray pokes the nose out front. It's getting dicey, 3 by 3. Devin Ray clear to the middle if he wants it as Stamper goes down. But
track, it looks like it's Thomas Parker.
Logan
York to the apron.
Oh, man, how'd they keep it going there? We all keep it going straight somehow. Green flag stays out. We'll stay up front. A little bit of a shuffle. The KSR boys down to the bottom of the racetrack. That's Oswornoth and Dustin Carruthers. Devin Ray is going to be more than clear to the middle if he wants it. He starts to take it, tries to bring his teammate with him. Not going to work. Ray now gets stuck in the middle. Four wide. Stamper goes around. Kenny Stamper, how did he save that truck? The 30 keeps going. We settle it out, and Oswornoth gets the lead after all of that. Oh, my goodness, what a shuffle. That's crazy racing here at the front. Ooh, late block there from, can't tell which truck that is off the top of my head. Looks like Bradley Stefane in the 20. The running order shuffled. Guys, Dyson back and forth. How about Zach Range through the middle? 4 wide further back, it looks like. Nope, back to 3.
Yeah, this is unbelievable racing. I don't know how these guys are not wrecking. We've had at least three trucks off the track, and, man, they are just changing lanes all over, middle, all the way to the back. This is crazy racing here.
Everybody trying to file back in that second lane. Looks like Richard Elliott, Ron Morris find themselves a spot. Danny Eshelman, Nick Warner now lead the top, it looks like to me. And as we get settled out once again and have just a moment to breathe, as several trucks get off the track right there. Kenny Stamper and others get sideways, somehow keep it going. I really don't know. And now here we go again. Dyson up front. McCullough Ray to the top. KSR in the middle. On the bottom, Bradley Stefane. Brock Westmoreland, where did he come from? And Ryan Bass now find themselves at the front.
Yeah, Ryan Bass, the 32-year-old from Oakdale, New York on Long Island. I got to talk to him earlier today, and, man, he was hyped up for it tonight. His goal's to just race hard every chance he gets, and that he does. He doesn't care, little guy, big guy. He just loves running these series, loves all the respect the drivers show. Kudos to him. He's always up front, class act guy. And one cool thing about Ryan Bass I learned today, he's a big golfer. He says he plays about 2 to 3 times a week and usually hits the simulator in the wintertime. And cool for me because I'm a big golfer too, and I didn't know that about him. But if I ever got to meet the guy, man, I tell you what, I'd love to get a couple beers and hit the links with him because he is one cool. Oh, we got a big wreck, guys.
Yes, we do. I was just going to point it out. It looked like Ron Morris made the first move there, and he goes around to bring out our second caution. And unfortunately, this is going to involve Austin Green as well. He gets caught up there at the tail end. We'll have to go back and take a look. It happened right at the tail end of our camera angle there as we're trying to get a decent look at what happened. Looks like just guys Dyson for the same piece of real estate. And we'll try to get a decent look at it. Here you have Ron Morris in the 76 trying to come up. And not quite clear. It was a strong move, but not one that he had time to make. Comes across the nose of the 54 of, I believe that's the 54 anyway, of Todd Mays. He gets turned, and man, this is a melee. This is more trucks than I expected. Eshelman, Mills, going further up, Kenneth Gallman, Zach Range, 16 of Harrison Whitehead. Mays gets hit by the 21 of Mutchler. That's Cody Mutchler. Man, this is several trucks involved. This one actually, there's Josh Mutchler in the 23 as well. This is a big incident. Well, let's try to take another look, try to get an idea of what happens a little further up. I know Zach Range is involved in this one as well. 043, I think it's just going to be an innocent bystander right here. Yep, Morris comes up, gets the 043, gets the 6 of Cole Fitzpatrick. as well to the outside wall. Man, this is a big melee. I did not think this wreck was quite this massive. This is a lot of good trucks. There's Austin Green. He's going to slide into it late.
Yeah,
Man, how did... Oh, go ahead. But, man, I was going to say, how did Bobby Forbes miss that wreck? But go ahead.
Yeah, I saw that hurricane on the back of that Austin Green machine, and that was definitely a hurricane right there wreck. Ron he probably thought he was clear there, the 54 of Mays, but it's hard to see sometimes. I know some of these guys running triples, but, going this fast, just a split-second difference there, and Ron thought he had it. It wasn't there. Unfortunately, it caused this one, and I'll have to check out that escape you were talking about. I did not get to see that, though.
And we caught it right there on our last angle we showed. Bobby Forbes came within about a foot of T-boning Zach Range as he came off the outside wall. Luckily for both drivers, they managed to escape it just barely. But that collects double-digit trucks here just past 10 laps into this one, and we will reset the field once again with 16 laps to go. Josh McCullough, Devin Ray, the McCullough Motorsports teammates, lead the race, with Dustin Carruthers behind them in third. Heath Job for Hyper runs fourth, and Trevor Osbernoth runs in the fifth position. Some guys have cycled to the front of the field. We were talking about it earlier. Brock Westmoreland, Daniel Diorio. How about the new guy up here inside the top 10? He actually was third at one point on that run. Through all the diciness, I didn't really get to point it out. We talked about Ryan Baste a little bit already. Tim White is in 11th. Nick Warner is 12th. Philip Wilkinson, he runs tonight for KSR as well in the 24. So another KSR entry starting to make his way forward. Big shuffle here with 16 laps to go, and these cautions tick off 4 or 5 laps, and suddenly when you get down to it, you run out of opportunities. You got to start making moves now, because we're going to go green with about 14 laps to go. It's not a long time, especially if you're back outside the top 20 trucks or so.
Oh, I definitely agree, and like I said earlier, that's kind of why John was thinking maybe having some longer races here, but we got what we have tonight. You got Austin Green back there in 23rd, it looks like. Zach Range, who I spoke to earlier today, he's back in 26th, unfortunately. So look for those guys. Those are two good guys back there that could definitely, make their way to the front, but it's not going to be easy. I think we're going to have about 14 to go when we do go back green, and that's just not a lot of time here with this big of a field. I mean, some of these guys using their fast repairs probably with these couple incidents we have. So, the best thing for me as a driver, I want to be up front. I want to be leading. I want to keep my nose clean, my rear end clean, and, just try to lead some laps and let all the wrecks happen behind you, because once you're out of those fast repairs, it's no fun. So kudos to Josh McCullough right now, Devin Rea staying out front here, and Dustin Carruthers as well. So, it's been a strong race for KSR, and it's hard to pick against those guys tonight, man. They got the numbers, and those guys run night in, night out. They put a lot of laps down and just have a lot of experience around this track.
Yeah, hard to pick against McCullough Motorsports, hard to pick against KSR, obviously with the numbers they have at the front right now, but also, like you said, even without those numbers, just the ability of each driver to get the job done when they need to get the job done. I mean, look at some of the wins that we've gotten out of some of these drivers up near the front of the field. Obviously, Trevor Osbernoth, a former PGR winner several weeks back, as well as Devin Ray. He got a big win a couple of weeks ago as well. So Dustin Carruthers, I mean, he won 3 of these races in a row last season. And, yeah, hard to pick against a lot of these guys at the front because they all have experience getting to victory lane. They all know, even when they're up against the wall, they know how to get the job done when it counts. You get a good look at the whole field here rolling down this long back straightaway. A wide look at the field here in 3 and 4 as we get ready to put them back under the green flag with what's going to be 14 laps to go. And we're down to the nitty-gritty now. You start to make your moves. I imagine it's going to get even more crazy than we've already seen so far. What a dicey sequence we had on that run, but, man, it's just with 15 laps to go as we get close to the end. Man, it's going to get even better, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm looking up there at the top 10. My dark horse pick tonight was Richard Elliott. He's sitting in 7th, and I'll tell you what, I've ran with quite a few races with him on Team PGR before he went over to Hyper Motorsports, and he's a dang good driver, man. I was kind of upset when we lost him, but I'll tell you what, man, look out for him tonight. He's in the top 7. He's looking for more, and this would be a big win if he can get the job done here tonight.
Be a big win for a lot of different guys. Into the restart zone they come. Green flag back in the air. 14 laps to go from Talladega Super Speedway. Inside's got it rolling. Devin Ray, Dustin Carruthers, Trevor Osborne are the first three to get connected. Ray will get the run through the corner. Let's see if he goes up in front of his McCullough Motorsports teammate Josh McCullough. See if he can get it done here in 1 and 2. I imagine he might just stay put where he's at, allow McCullough Motorsports to control the flow of the race here, at least for a moment, before we get more crazy as this run goes on. Hyper Motorsports, by the way, has two teammates lined up in the outside in the form of Heat Job and Bradley Stefane. There goes Josh McCullough down to his teammate and leaves those Hyper trucks to lead that line. Brock Westmoreland going to be the support for them up there on that middle line. Everybody's still staying 2x2 for now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but for now, at least, a sense of calm as guys start to make their way towards the front of the field.
Yeah, I'd say it's not going to last long, especially the middle on back. Those guys, you know, the laps are ticking down. We're going to have 13 to go here at the line, and, you know, you're going to have to start making your way to the front and soon if you want to get to victory lane here tonight.
Josh McCullough continues to lead. Devin Ray giving him a nice push. They've got good support in the form of the KSR teammates of Dustin Carruthers and Trevor Osborne. Topside, Hyper with Job and Stefane. They've got Westmoreland with them. Looks like Daniel Diorio settled in nicely, but the third lane now starting to roll. Ryan Baste has some help, I believe, from Nick Warner in the 3. First time we've heard from him tonight, but now they drop right back in. Unfortunately, one truck going to be hung out against the wall. I believe that's Tim White. It's not Tim White. It is John Darnell, the 99. Yep. Tim White with a new paint scheme tonight, so I got a little bit confused there. Guys running some new paints. Now Based back out to the outside with Nick Warner. Does anybody else go with them? They're going to need a third truck out there. Nope, doesn't seem like anybody is wanting to go quite yet. By the time they do get help, it's going to be awfully hard to surge that line forward. They're just going to drop right back in. And back to 2 wide. 12 laps to go. Still, Josh McCullough, Heath Job up front. McCullough gives his teammate a chance to cool off. And the Hyper boys say, I'm going a lane higher. Heath Job, 3 wide, an aggressive move. But his teammate Stefane stays in line. An interesting decision. Third line coming to the aid of Heath Job in the form of Austin Green in the 87 as he makes his presence felt at the front of the field for the first time tonight. Here comes Ryan Baste, Stamper, as well as Thomas Parker coming a little bit further up. Well, and right as I say that, it fades again back down to 2 wide here off turn number 4. Oh, and right as I say that, trouble. Cole Fitzpatrick is into the outside wall, and that's going to bring out our third caution of the night. He goes for a slide, and I think may just bring this truck to pit road. That's exactly what he's going to do. Might as well. He's already sitting there anyway. And I think we get away with just a one-truck incident. You saw it happen right there in the front of the field. Try to get a better camera angle for this. Might not have a great one. That might be our best one right there. Coming off turn number 4, he comes up in front of the 16 of Harrison Whitehead.
Yeah, it's similar to what happened earlier with Ron Morris. Just probably thought he, was clear. Spotter could have possibly said that, but like I said, things are going so fast here at Talladega. He just came right across the nose of the 16. Fortunately for everyone else in the field, they're back. It was a one-car incident. Unfortunately for Fitzpatrick, obviously, he had to come down pit road. Hopefully he's got a fast repair because he definitely took, a good head-on collision there to the wall, but it's hard racing here. Talladega, closing laps, getting down to the last 10, and guys looking for position, man, and that's just going to happen a lot. So fortunate for him, but hopefully he can get back on track and give it another shot.
Well, absolutely, and we'll pace once again here. Not a lot to that caution. Fitzpatrick able to get some fresh tires and come back out, rejoin the field. Not too much damage on the 6. Looks like he just bounced off the outside wall. Really didn't even hit it all that hard. So we re-rack the field with 11 laps to go. And, man, what a shuffle up front. We got some guys coming forward that have not really been at the front of the field all night long, namely Austin Green, Philip Wilkinson, Bobby Forbes, as well as some others further back. I'll tell you, Heath Job out of that whole exchange got the worst end as he drops from first at one point in that run to 12th position. So he's got some work to do here on this restart. But up front, it is the KSR McCullough Motorsports duel. It continues here with 10 laps to go in this race. Carruthers and Osborne versus Ray and Josh McCullough up front. And now they've got another pair of teammates behind them in Bradley Stefane and Richard Elliott. The team dynamic going to come into play on this restart.
Yeah, it is. And I'm looking to see what happens with this third lane. It seems like, you got a couple takers here and there tonight, but it seems like they kind of either just file back down to the middle lane or one driver gets hung out to dry and kind of cycles back, kind of like Heath Job did there. It's going to take some teammates to kind of to gamble on that and get lined up. But like I said, we have numbers on some of these bigger teams in here tonight. So, if somebody wants to get to the front, they're going to have to, talk among themselves and figure that out, because right now it's really just the bottom and the middle. And, I think it's going to take somebody that really wants to push to the front with their teammates to make that third lane work. Try to push clear and see if they can get the job done. But I'd like to see that third lane come in here near the end, and hopefully we have a 3-wide finish.
Well, absolutely, and that's about what we saw last week. You want a good super speedway finish, go check out the finish from last week if you haven't seen it already. Holy cow, everything that happened in that last 1,000 feet, it's about everything you could ask for out of a Talladega finish. And David Sheets obviously gets a huge win in last week's race, and someone else looking to follow in his footsteps tonight. We're going to see who it's going to be. Coming to 1 lap to go. It'll be 8 laps to go when we go back to the green flag. And while we have a second, I know you mentioned you talked to, who was the other spotlight driver you had? I want to go ahead and do that here right quick while we have a chance.
Yeah, I talked to good old Zach Range earlier today, and he's back in 21st right now. Was up front early on. Really good driver. He's a 26-year-old from Woodlands, Texas. I asked him, do you believe you can win this series this season? And he said, you know what, I'm competitive enough, just like the big dogs. He just needs a little bit more seat time, some more experience to kind of learn how everybody runs. But he thinks with that, will come a lot of success. And, he's been doing outside iRacing. He does a lot of karting. He's actually going to be doing a 12-hour endurance race in Orlando, Florida on December 2nd. So we want to wish him a lot of luck doing that. I know I've jumped in a kart a few times myself. Never really got to race them, but those things are wicked fast. A lot of downforce on those things, and they're super, super fun. So not exactly sure the class he's going to be in, but doing an endurance race for 12 hours, man, that's got to be a riot. Just a good old time. So hopefully he's doing that with some good buddies of his, and probably make some memories to last a lifetime there. So,
a true racer at heart, Zach Range, and we've seen him grow just in the few months that I've gotten to see him race. I've seen him really blossom and really find his stride, find his footing, if you will. Not even just in this series, but in bigger races as well around the quote-unquote big dogs. This guy can run with them any day of the week, and the best part of it, I think, is that he really doesn't have a team affiliation. We've seen him run with Aiden Kirk a lot in the last couple of weeks, but no real formal big team association like the KSRs, like the McCullough Motorsports, NBG Mains of the world. So he kind of does it solo. Maybe one other guy running with him, but for the most part, just a true racer, finds his friends wherever he can find them and manages to get the job done. He's got work to do on this restart, but man, if you don't want to count anybody out, it's Zach Range. That guy, he knows how to get the job done when it counts.
Yeah, he told me he won the last 3 out of his 5 races in karting. So let's hopefully he can translate that to here to iRacing. And, hey, maybe he'll get a call from the PGR owner up here in the booth. And never know, he can land on one of the bigger teams. And, let's see what these guys can do. Because I'll tell you what, a lot of team owners are watching these guys weekly to see who's the next guy up and coming, and try to get them on their team, and we'll see who could get the job done, man. Let's go. 9 to go, 8 to go at the line. Let's do this.
Certainly, Zach Range, one of the more highly touted free agents in the field here tonight. But we're going to see who's going to get the job done. 8 laps to go up front. Carruthers, Ray, Osborne, McCullough. It's McCullough versus KSR here on the first 2 rows. Hyper waiting in the wings behind them. Green flag once again. 8 laps to go here from Talladega. Who gets the better start? It's the outside line. Carruthers, Osborne, Richard Elliott. How about Tim White runs 7th now in the 239? That green and yellow truck there on the middle line. So he tries to get it rolling here late in the race. He tries to get something working there in that middle line. A couple more trucks further back trying to get the job done as well. But up front, Ray, Carruthers, drag race down the backstretch. Their teammates pushing as hard as they can with 8 laps to go. Who's going to be the first to move out 3 wide and make the big move? Try to come forward for now. Nobody. 2 wide, lockstep formation in 3.
Yeah, and the 4, Brock Westmoreland, he's going to be 4th there on the bottom lane. If I were him, I'd probably come up here because I think that top line is going to come soon. And if you're in that middle and that top line is coming and they got numbers, if you can jump up in front, you are going to go straight to the front. So look for, oh, we got it halfway back through the field. It looks like we're going to start going 3 wide. Well, nope. we're going to have, it looks like it's Logan York. He's going to go low, hang someone out to dry, and that's kind of how it's been tonight. You go out in the third, you're getting left hung out, and hopefully sooner than later we could get a slew of cars going up there because I want to see some three-wide racing.
Eventually, you're going to have a crowd, and now it starts. Philip Wilkinson of KSR. Logan York thought about it, but now dives back in line again in the 0-2, but now some takers. KSR is lined up in the outside line. Wilkinson, Based, Parker. They try to start to come forward, try to work that outside line and get it rolling. It's going to take a lot from where they are, but they are the first to go up there. Meanwhile, Carruthers up front has been able to clear the 22 of Devin Ray. He drops down across the bottom. Trouble. Around goes Danny Eschleman. He bounces off the inside wall, but no caution. Now trouble. Kenneth
now we have
Gallman
3 guys into the wall.
and Bobby Forbes have gone around here at the entrance of the tri-oval. And around we go once again. Looks like Todd Mays is in this one as well in the 54. And this will bring out our 4th caution of the night. You saw it start. This was as a result of what happened a little further back with Danny Eschleman. You actually see the 26 here. You're going to see him at the tail end, or excuse me, the front end of this replay. Try to get a little better look at it. Here we go, Eschleman. It's the same thing we've seen all night. Eschleman tries to fill a gap that's not there. Ends up getting turned here off the bumper of Kenneth Gallman. Gallman, obviously, it checks him up quite a bit. And as these guys try to go scrambling around him, there you go, Michael Menchaca all the way to the apron for a second 4 wide. As Menchaca has to bail out, and as he comes back up, tries to reestablish, Kenneth Gallman is still there. And is going to end up in the outside wall with Bobby Forbes. And Todd Mays involved as well. They go for a slide here in the tri-oval. Ron Morris, Todd Mays actually involved further up as well, as they bounce hard at the outside wall. Man, the 54 gets the brunt of that incident. Front end bouncing off the 54 machine. And another truck trying to make his way through. I can't quite tell who that is. A little further back might be Steve Sizemore in the 17. Regardless, 4th caution of the night comes out for an incident in the tail end of the field, and it's the same thing we've seen really all night. Guys trying to fill a gap that just isn't quite there.
Yeah, and if you look ahead of that even too, a little bit before that all happened, Ryan Baste was racing. He was in the 3rd lane. Looked like he had Thomas Parker pushing him. He came down kind of right in front of Mark Vondel. Mark Vondel had a checkup, and yeah, you know, when that checkup happens ahead of you, these guys farther back, you know, it kind of checks them up, and you know, the guy behind them might be pushing, and you know, he's not going to get that memo. So by the time he feels it, there's just really sometimes nothing you could do about it. And you know, a lot of these wrecks, especially in the mid to back of the pack at Talladega, a lot to do with checkup. So unfortunate situation there, but let's see if these guys can get back on track. They're not going to have too much time left here by the time we go green. So it looks like it's going to be a rough day for some of those guys, but we'll never know. We got a lot of trucks actually on pit road right now. Sitting out front, Dustin Carruthers, Devin Ray in 2nd, and Trevor Astronaut in 3rd.
No surprise at all. The Carruthers finds himself leading the race. Like I said, I believe a 3-time winner, maybe 2-time, 3-time winner, something like that last season. Rattled off back-to-back wins at one point in back-to-back weeks, so no surprise to find him at the front. No surprise to see Devin Ray at the front. No surprise to see Trevor Osbernoth or Josh McCullough at the front for that matter either. And again, the team duel will continue here on this restart. As it's going to be McCullough versus KSR once again. We'll see if Dustin decides to drop down, pick up his teammate Trevor Osbernoth on this restart. It would leave Devin Ray and Josh McCullough on the outside of the racetrack to duel them for this win. Looking back further through the field, Logan York into the top 10. Austin Green is in the top 10, as well as Daniel Diorio. Quite the debut for him. How about some screen time for the 78? He's had a good run tonight. He's very much in this one. Late in the going, Tim White, Heath Job, John Darnell. Also a little further back, the KSR trucks that tried the outside line actually lost some ground. Wilkinson is 14th, Baste is 16th, and Parker is 19th. Now they've got Kenny Stamper back with them there in 20th. So for KSR trucks, if they can get a good enough run, I got to imagine they're going to be the ones coming to the front right here. We saw them try it on the last run. It didn't work, but now they got 4 trucks that they're going to be able to line up and move forward in a hurry here once we get back going.
Yeah, and why don't we maybe go to an interview? How about we get that race leader, Dustin Carruthers, up here in the booth?
Yeah, well, let's see if we can't get Dustin Carruthers. And, hey, since you suggested it, Mike, I'll let you take it. Let me see if I can get him up here really quickly. Hopefully they're not doing any sensitive team stuff. Not much time, but, hey, we'll get a word with him real quick. All right, Mike, I think you've caught up with him.
Hey, Dustin, how you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hey, you know what? I didn't pick you to win the race. I saw you took a funny exception to that. Obviously, we're just joking around, but let's be real, man. You're a favorite every time you're out here at Talladega, Daytona, man. How do you seem to just be up front almost every time we go green for this little guy series?
I just got some good guys around me and just a lot of luck.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I don't think it's luck. You have a lot of skill, man. It's fun to run with you out there when I'm running. You have a lot of respect for the drivers in this series and other series, and we appreciate getting the chance to watch you each week, man. So good luck. Keep it up front and try to get that thing to victory lane.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Michael.
No problem.
Dustin Carruthers in the 10, leading the race. The confidence we're used to hearing out of the driver for KSR. That's the confidence of a guy who's been there, done that before, and he's done that multiple times in this series. But right here, some guys trying to deny him on that outside line. Devin Ray, Josh McCullough, the McCullough Motorsports teammates, boy, would they love to lock their way to that last race. Josh has been oh so close so many times, and now again he finds himself up front, this time with a teammate here in front of him, and we'll see if he can get the job done. Obviously, almost a McCullough Motorsports 1-2-3 last week. Josh came up just a little bit short, got turned in the tri-oval on the way to the checkered flag, and he looks for redemption off turn number 4. The team battles will continue, but more importantly, who's going to be the first to make that third line work?
Yeah, and you got a couple Hyper Motorsports guys there lurking. Third on the bottom, it's Richard Elliott. It looks like Bradley Stefan on the top. So this thing is far from over, man. I love the pace truck is off. We are going to go green here, and I am amped up for this restart, guys.
Oh, I'm beyond excited here as we get in the tri-oval. Dustin Carruthers, Devin Ray going to duel it out for this win. The guys behind them, they look to spoil the party up here at the front. 3 laps to go from Talladega. Green flag is back in the air, and what a start for the KSR duo on the bottom. Osbornoth and Carruthers off to the races. Do they double up? No, they do not. They stay home on the bottom. Richard Elliott got a pretty good start behind them. He's going to be to their back bumper. Man, what a start for the 89 and the 10. They are both clear of the 22, but now here comes the outside. They surge as Josh McCullough, Bradley Safane, Brock Westmoreland follow Devin Ray forward. Drag race down the backstretch with 3 to go. Still 2 by 2, 6 rows deep. Still nobody trying the third lane. Now Brock Westmoreland makes the move. Brock Westmoreland out to the outside. He has no help. Logan York, story of the night. He's been staying in the middle. He does once again tonight, trying to just pick off spots. Further back, KSR lined up at the outside line. Philip Wilkinson coming forward, but now it starts to fall apart a little bit in front of Ryan Baste. They try to get hooked back up, try to come back forward. Austin Green trying to line up with them. Coming to line 2 to go. Devin Ray leads, still 2 by 2 most of the way back.
This is some great racing here up front. These guys are on it. They're holding a pretty wheel. But I'll tell you what, somebody's going to make the move, and they're going to make it soon. And it's going to be that third line. I'm telling you, it's going to come in. And here we go. We're going to try to lead the charge again here down the backstretch.
Yes, Brock Westmoreland, Austin Green. Looks like Harrison Whitehead wants to take his shot. No, now he pulls back in line. Story of the night once again has been guys getting up there and then pulling back in line. It starts to move, though. Austin Green's got that third line wound, and they've got help coming. They've got to hang in for a moment. Oh, truck against the outside wall. That's the 23. Trouble. Oh. Westmoreland, several others into the wall. Hard hit there for Nick Warner. And we're going to spin out. Range, Baste, Von Dell, caution flag. Just short of the white flag, and that will take us into overtime. And that one started with a scramble actually before we got to the lap truck, but a scramble nonetheless about halfway back in the field.
Dustin Carruthers looks like somehow he grabbed the lead there. It looked like it was going to be Joshua McCullough, but right before that caution came out, Dustin got to grab the lead, and man, this was shaping up to be a great finish. Looks like some guys pushing hard there in the middle there, and unfortunately, you know, we're going to collect a lot of trucks in that one.
Trying to get eyes on it. There it is. Brock Westmoreland a little further back. He's the first guy I saw get out of shape. Not really sure what happened here. They were fine. It looked like they were okay, and they were coming up on the lap truck, the 23 of Josh Muchler. And we'll see if we can get a little better angle that we can see this one. Here we go. Austin Green behind the 4 Brock Westmoreland. They're outside of Daniel DiOrio and Heath Job. And it's not really sure what happens here. Somebody gets out of shape. Same piece of real estate, looks like, for the 4 and the 760, and perhaps some right rear net code. That sends the 4 out of shape. These guys get it back together. Westmoreland has to turn off the wall, and as soon as he turns off the wall, Justin Mills is there. He gets collected. He's going to bounce off the outside wall pretty hard. I think Wilkinson gets turned. Not sure what. Wow, Nick Warner, man, hangs a right there at the exit of turn number 4 and bounces hard off the outside wall. Thomas Parker, Mark Vondell, Ryan Baste, Cole Fitzpatrick, Zach Range. Count the guys involved in this one. This is a big wreck off turn number 4.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate, man. These guys just racing hard, trying to have a good finish, because even, you never know if you don't get enough guys in the top 3 or get repeat winners, you could get in on points or finishes. So, you definitely still want to have a good day, even if you can't finish in that top 3. And a lot of these trucks seem like some similar trucks that were caught in some wrecks earlier, and probably out of fast repairs and not going to have enough time to get some damage repaired. And unfortunately for some of these guys, it's going to be a rough night for them. But we're going to have to focus our attention on the front of this field, though, because we are going to have a couple lap shootout. And I'll tell you what, man, these 4 drivers that you see at the top, they are hungry, especially Josh McCullough. He's been ever so close in this series, and I'll tell you what, man, he is going to be pedal to the floor, and he's probably going to be no lift pushing, because we're going to only have 2 laps to go, and we do take the green flag.
Yeah, green white checkered attempt number 1. We have 3 available to us if we so need them. Obviously, the way this race is going, 5 cautions here in the first 27 laps, the regulation distance. Sure seems like we're going to use at least 2 of these attempts. We'll see. Obviously, that third one gets a little bit interesting considering a caution flag ends the race. It's frozen at the time of caution, so that could make things interesting if we do go into that third attempt. For now, we're on attempt number 1, and like you said, it's a 4-truck battle. That's been the story of the night, it seems like, at the front of the field, and these guys just seem destined to race this out for the win. We'll see if that's the way it turns out. We can flip-flop them here on the restart. Ray McCullough on the bottom. Carruthers and Osbornoth will be on the top. We'll see if that changes anything, and man, these guys behind them, they got to be getting a little bit impatient, I would think. Logan York, Daniel DiOrio, Austin Green, Heath Job, Harrison Whitehead. I got to think by this point they've run behind these 4 for the last 10 or 15 laps, and by now you get a little bit impatient up here at the front of the field, especially with the top 3 spot on the line.
Yeah, and my race winning pick tonight was Heath Job. He's back there in the top 10. I'm sure he's talking with his teammates Bradley Stefane and Richard Elliott, because they're going to have to make a move to get around these guys here in the top 4. And like I said, 2 laps to go when we do go green, so short time. And I think somebody's just going to have to stick it out. They're going to have to go 3 and stay together and just commit to it. We haven't had a lot of committers tonight. Kind of get a couple guys that go out. You'll have a guy that goes down, and like I said, the other guy kind of gets sucked back. Just no one's kind of committing to that third lane, and I kind of understand why. But here at the end of the race, if you want to win it, that's going to be your shot, because these 4 are not going to give an inch.
Couple little notes for you here. One primarily on the team side of things. Daniel DiOrio in the 78 is actually a KSR entry tonight. He runs with that large team, so that changes the dynamic of this restart a little bit, as he will most likely hang in behind the 2 KSR entries of Osbornoth and Carruthers there in the middle. And if those 3 get lined up, man, it becomes really hard to beat them. Obviously, we have some guys further back lined up. Obviously, Austin Green, you don't expect to see him stay where he is for very long. You don't expect to see, it's a little further back, I'm trying to look and see who's back there. John Darnell, Logan York. Those are not guys I expect to be content riding 8th here on this last restart. So they'll make some noise, but obviously, we'll have to see here on this restart. Really quickly before we go green, I want to shout out a couple more people in the chat. Kenny McCullough, good to see you, brother. Good to see him rooting on his boys here from McCullough Motorsports. Another good effort for them. We'll see if they can get the job done. And then, obviously, Cody is in the chat as well. Cody, good to see you. Obviously, couldn't be with us here tonight. Our league race ran a little bit long. It's the playoffs right now, so obviously completely understandable the commitment going on over there. What a race that was tonight. If anybody was with me for that, that was a lot of fun to watch as well, as that playoffs continues in the round of 12. But here, we're going to decide who's going to get in that big race at the end of the season. McCullough Motorsports, KSR, Hyper Motorsports all want a piece of this top 3, and only 3 guys are going to get spots here when this race goes checkered. So, into the tri-oval, green-white checkered attempt number 1. If we get around to the white flag, this race is official, and no matter what, we will race it all the way to the end and find ourselves a winner. If not, 2 more attempts at it here tonight. Devin Ray into the restart zone. He has control of the restart. Green flag, green-white checkered attempt number 1 from Talladega in the Little Guys Series, race number 2. Drag race to turn 1, McCullough Motorsports versus KSR.
All right, Trevin Astronaut, it's time to shine. He's going to have to push that 10. Clear these guys by the end here. They're not going to get out of line. Let's see if that 10 could get edged past Devin Ray here coming out in the backstretch. That middle line usually tends to give a little bit more speed down here. Let's see if these guys can get to the front.
Who's got the better push down the backstretch, headed towards turn number 3, this extra long backstretch run. Devin Ray, man, what a surge by the inside. They hang serve on the bottom. Devin Ray, Josh McCullough. Let's see if Ray goes up. He's going to get clear in front of the 10. Does he risk it or stay in front of his teammate? He stays right at home on the bottom of the racetrack. Further back, trying to make something work is Kenny Stamper, but nothing for him. Now they go 3 wide trouble. John Darnell's around into the grass. We're still green for now. Out of the tri-oval, white flag. 1 more lap from Talladega.
Yeah, Devin Ray is just, oh man, he needs to win this race. I'll tell you that. He wants this thing bad. Josh McCall is pushing as hard as he can. You got Trevin Astronaut just on the back bumper of Dustin Crothers here. They just cannot seem to get to the front. Man, we're going to have a crazy finish here at Talladega.
Well, it's the duel we all wanted. It's McCullough Motorsports versus KSR, and it doesn't seem like that's going to change. Not really anybody can roll out to the 3rd lane. There's just not enough trucks left. This is the duel. This is the battle we've all waited for. Here we go through 3 and 4. Down off turn number 4 for the final time. Ray gets one last push from his teammate. Carruthers gets one last push from his teammate. They cycle further back through the trial drag race all the way to the checkered flag. Who's going to get the job done? It's a surge from the outside, and at the line, Dustin Carruthers wins for KSR.
Awesome job, Trevin Astronaut. He just came off turn 4, locked on the back bumper, the 10 of Dustin Carruthers, and they did not look back. They left those McCullough Motorsports boys in the dust. Man, what a great push by Trevor, and I'm sure Dustin is thrilled with his performance here tonight because he got him that W.
Quickly becoming one of the most dominant drivers we've seen in the Little Guys Series. His 3rd win in the last 5 or 6 races total, counting back to last season. And he can thank his teammate Trevor Osronoff because you said it. Josh McCullough gave Devin Ray everything he had for the last 2 laps of that race. But off turn number 4, Trevor Osronoff, man, what a push. The back of the 10. He wins his teammate the race and then to boot comes home in 2nd. So 1-2 for KSR. Obviously, those boys going to be pretty happy about that, I would imagine. We're going to see a team burnout down here on the front stretch. We'll let them burn it down here for a moment. Devin Ray, regardless of not winning the race, does lock into that final race at the end of the season with a 3rd place finish. So not all is lost for Devin Ray tonight as he will race for the Little Guys Championship in just a few weeks. And here we go. The KSR team burnout begins. They're burning it down here on the front stretch at Talladega.
Yes, they are, man. That was actually deja vu for me. I know in the first race of John's first Little Guy Series, I was on the bottom. I had Josh McCullough pushing me, and go figure, Ryan Bass pushing Dustin Crothers there in the middle lane. This time, obviously, it was Trevor Astronaut, but, you know, Dustin edged me to the line there. Fortunately, I was able to take 2nd. Looks like Devin took 3rd, but kind of a similar race to that one back in the first season. And so I kind of know the feeling Devin was in. There's nothing he could do, though. You got to hold your line, and, you know, I know Josh was pushing him as hard as he can, but like I said, that middle lane's going to prevail 9 out of 10 times, and there it does again.
Carruthers continues to burn it down here on the front stretch. He now a 4-time Little Guys Series winner, 3 in Season 1, 1 now in Season 2. 4 out of the 8 races total, counting that championship race that we have run. Dustin Carruthers has been in victory lane. To say dominant is an understatement as he has expired the engine now on the 10 machine here on the front stretch. And so with that said, you'll leave your finishing results there on the left side of the screen. We're going to get into some post-race interviews here with the top 3. And first off, we'll go grab our 3rd place finisher, Devin Ray, in the 22. And I'll grab him. We'll see what he's got to say about his effort here tonight. Hey, Devin, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I can't imagine you're, too happy with the way that race ended, but hey, it's a 3rd place effort for you. You're going to be racing for a championship, and I got to imagine that's a pretty good consolation prize.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I am. I'm pretty happy with it. I'd messaged Dustin. I was like, let's, let them hang. Let's keep it clean, make a good hard push for the end. But with them having more trucks up there, coming through that tri-oval, and just me, Josh, and I think it was Bradley behind him, they got that surge and got us around us, but I love them guys over at KSR, old teammate Ryan over there. They're all good guys, so I have no problem with the third place.
Well, you come home third tonight. You'll be racing for a title in a few weeks, and I got to imagine that feels good for you as a driver. You can kind of relax a little bit. Obviously, you're still going to be helping your teammates out, but for you personally, it's got to feel pretty good. You're racing for the big pot at the end of the season.
Yes, sir. I believe that's 3 of us in it now, 3 or 4 of us from last week also. First season, I didn't do so hot. I think I finished like 1 point out of making that top 15, so to get locked in this early is a great feeling.
Well, absolutely it is, and you come home third, so we got you for a second. Anybody you want to thank or shout out for your third place effort?
Man, you guys for, keeping this broadcast going and, sticking with the little guy series here. I know myself, I enjoy watching. I have it on during the race and then watch it again after the fact, Josh, back there for the pushing. I was hoping it would work out to where he was in front of me and I could try to get him locked in. So, got to thank the team back there. Just all them guys at McCullough Motorsports. It's been a great, beginning with them so far.
All right, well, congrats on that third place finish. Congrats on locking into that title race at the end of the season, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
And that is Devin Ray in the 22R third place finisher. We'll move on now to the second place finisher tonight, one of the two of the KSR duo. And Mike, I think you've caught up with our second place finisher, Trevor Osborne.
Hey, Trevor, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, you finished, it looks like 9th last week. Tonight you finished 2nd. And I bet you it was, for you, it was great. Bittersweet there, because you had a teammate you were pushing to the lead into first place in Dustin Crothers, man. It seems like you guys have a lot of chemistry on that track. I know you guys race almost every single night together. Is that kind of where that chemistry was built and why you guys are so good on these tracks?
Hey, man, I call Dustin a tool for a reason because he's the can opener, man. That guy right there, man, I can't tell you how many times we've made it to the front, and I tell you what, it's a test of KSR, man. We run these races every chance we get. Morning, night, well, maybe not the morning, but nighttime, late night, we're always doing it, trying to get better and better, and that's just where the chemistry comes from.
Well, you got that 9th place last week. You got that 2nd place this week. So hopefully next Monday night, you got one more spot to go to get to that first. We hope to see you there. Anyone you want to thank or shout out here tonight?
Oh, yeah, man, I got to thank all the KSR boys, Brian, Kenny, Philip, Ryan, Daniel's in there with us now, Thomas, Tempest, everybody in the KSR garage right now. They all help us, and Mr. Molly Mac, he's low-key, but we thank you too. And I appreciate you guys for the broadcast, man. I enjoy these every single week. And keep up the good work, man. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you, man. You have a good night.
Yes, sir.
Second place finisher Trevor Osmouth, and that moves us to our final interview of the night. We've already got him in here with us, a 4-time Little Guys Series winner. He goes to victory lane again tonight. Dustin Carruthers. Dustin, you got us up here in the booth.
Yeah, I got you, Dawson.
Man, I don't know how you continue to pull this off. Four wins and 8 total races in the Little Guys Series now, going back to last season. You lock in again this season, and boy, it looks like you and KSR are off to another dominant start. Just kind of take me through, first of all, the last run there to the end, and also just kind of, your night as a whole as KSR really shows some muscle.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering what Devin was going to do there, if he was going to take that top line or stay down with Josh. He ended up staying down with Josh, and I was hooked up with Trevin. So we just tried to stay together. And there was a couple times Devin cleared me, and he could have took it, but he stayed down there with Josh, and I think that's what got me the win, really.
Well, it definitely is, and Trevor pushes you through. You guys go 1-2. So for KSR as a team, this one's got to feel pretty good. It's 2 trucks locked in at the end of the season, and you guys, like I said, showed some might tonight. You got some more trucks involved as well tonight. So, take me through what having a group like that does for you guys as drivers and how much it helps, especially in races like this.
Oh, it's awesome having a good team like we do. We race together every single night. And it helps us build that team chemistry. And, Trev knows where exactly I'm going to be. I know where he's going to be. we can just push each other really well.
Hey, Dawson, I think we're interviewing the wrong person. I want to interview that kid of his back there.
I was just going to say the same thing. We'll let you go here in a second, Dustin, but while we got you, anybody you want to thank or shout out after your fourth win in the Little Guy Series?
Yeah, shout out to the baby. Got to shout out to Ken the Stamper and all my buddies at Ken the Stamper Racing, Trevin. You named them all off already. We just got a really great team right now, and really happy with what we're doing.
All right, certainly a great effort for you guys tonight. 1-2, you're both locked in, and it's your fourth win of 8 races here in the Little Guys Series. We'll see you next week. Congratulations, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, I appreciate it, Dawson. I'll be up here next week after the race.
Boy, Dustin calling his shot there at the end of the interview. How about that? Out of the driver of the 10. And you know what? I probably shouldn't be the guy to doubt him, honestly, after the performance he's put up over the first 8 races of this series. But with that said, we'll go through your finishing results here from Talladega Superspeedway. Carruthers, Osbornoth, Ray, the top 3. We got to talk to them just briefly. Josh McCullough comes home 4th. He finally gets a good effort, but he falls 1 spot short of locking in to that final race at the end of the season. Richard Elliott comes home 5th tonight. Bradley Stefane in 6th. Logan York 7th. Heath Job 8th. Daniel DiOrio 9th. And Zach Range rounds out the top 10.
The mean Austin Green finishes in 11th. We got Harrison Whitehead in 12th. Brock Westmoreland in 13th place. And last week's, I think it was third place finisher, Michael Menchaca took 14th. You got Cole Fitzpatrick rounding out the top 15. Tim E. White, I know his big Vikings got a victory tonight over the San Francisco 49ers. He was jacked up. He finishes in 16th. Kenny Stamper finishes in 17th with Ryan Baste in 18th. Danny Eichelman will finish in 19th. And rounding out your top 20 is Philip Wilkinson.
Todd Mays finishes 21st. Ron Morris in 22nd. Cody Munchler 23rd. Nick Warner 24th. And Kenneth Gallman in 25th. Bobby Forbes finishes 26th. Thomas Parker 27th. Mark Mondell 28th. John Darnell 29th. And Justin Mills in 30th. And rounding out the field tonight, Steve Sizemore in 31st. Josh Munchler in 32nd. And Josh Holmes in 33rd position. So that's going to do it here from Talladega Superspeedway. What a night it was here in the Little Guys Series. Race number 2 of Season 2. Dustin Carruthers, his 4th win in 8 tries in the Little Guys Series, and he is locked in at the end of the season. What a run for KSR. What a run for McCullough. What a duel it was. Mike, your final thoughts after what was another great Little Guys race.
Yeah, man, just exciting sitting up here. I know it was fun to race in the first round of this series, but it's actually more fun to even just call these things. It's a lot less stressful. I'm still kind of getting my bearings up here in the booth, but I'm doing it with the great guy in Dawson Wise here, guys. He's a class act, really good at what he does, a great voice, and just appreciate you for letting me do this with you. Hopefully we can get Cody to jump back up here with us, and congrats to all these drivers, man. They're the ones putting on the show. Thanks to John Ward for putting these on, and looking forward to next week and hopefully a new winner.
Well, absolutely. What a week it was here from Talladega Superspeedway. That's going to just about do it for us. I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching. I want to thank everybody for contributing in the chat as well. Leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're going to be right back here Monday night next week about 11 o'clock on the East Coast for another edition of the Little Guys Series. And we will see what these guys have in store for us next week. Until then, you've been watching the Hickory Racing Network. For my broadcast partner tonight, Michael Triscaro, my name is Dawson Wise. Everybody have a great night, have a great week, and we will see you next time.